Alright guys, so today we're going to do something a little different. We're actually going to do some vegetable soup. You'll want to go ahead and start with your pan nice and hot. Mine is good and hot. For this recipe, you can use any kind of vegetables that you want. I'm using carrots, onions, butternut squash, some bell peppers, tomatoes, and some cilantro. I'm going to go ahead and put my carrots and my onions and celery in. And you're going to let this cook. You're going to give it a good cook. It's going to cook about 10 minutes. Because what you want is for your carrots, your celery, your onions, all that good stuff to get nice and soft. And that takes about 10 minutes. I've got quite a bit of ingredients over here. And what I did was I pre-cut everything so that I could go ahead and get started. I actually didn't plan on filming today. You guys believe that? I actually just kind of did this on the fly. I was prepping the ingredients and I was like, maybe they'd like to see how I do it. So figured I'd go ahead and get you in there. And we'll do. You can choose any vegetables you like. I like to think that this is a good comfort food, at least for me it is. I like a nice little, stew, just good stuff. And I'm just putting pepper. I'm going to throw a little bit of salt in there. And that's just to get the vegetables started. I'm going to go ahead and stir that up. And this is really simple too, y'all. You don't need to have a whole bunch of stuff. You don't have to, go out and buy a whole bunch of fancy stuff. It's real simple. This is just the base here. And I just stir it up a little bit to make sure the seasoning's all the way through there. I'm also going to put some spinach in it here later on, but we'll do that at the very end because you want that to wilt down and just flavor. So, and today, just because I didn't have time to make the actual stock myself, I'm actually using this Edward & Sons not chicken Bullion cubes. And let me see, can I get it to where you can see what it looks like? It looks like this. It says not chicken on it. But, yeah, so that's what I'm using. Edward & Sons, not chicken. Sorry if you couldn't see it. I can definitely put it in the description box so you can, if you want to get you some, get you some. This is just what I use when I don't have time to make stock because I like how it tastes. It actually tastes really good. So you'll let those vegetables go ahead and cook a little bit. And the great thing I love about this is you can choose to let the base cook for about 7-10 minutes, or you can go ahead and throw everything in the pot if you're lazy. My onions are kind of starting to sweat a little bit, and they're starting to get a little bit of translucency to them. So what I'm going to do, just because, y'all, I'm going to be honest, I'm lazy. I don't feel like watching the pot. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of my other vegetables in here, along with my liquid. So I've got some butternut squash. And butternut squash, I really like it because it's creamy, but it's really, really just, it's like hearty. It's creamy, but it's hearty, so I really like that. And then I've got some red bell peppers that are also going to go in here. And I didn't have any green ones, actually. I like to kind of have all the colors, but I got some green in there with the celery, so, and the spinach, so we're good. And the Romanesco actually is green too. Romanesco, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's also called broccoli flower. It's actually a cross between a cauliflower and broccoli, and it's really good. I like it. This will be my first time putting it actually in like a soup. I usually just cook it on the side and do it like a side dish, like roast it off with some salt, pepper, and things like that. But I just love the vegetables. I love how delicious, man, I just love vegetables and how yummy they all taste, and just, vegetables are always delicious, right? So, yep, you're also going to use some garlic. Today I actually chose to slice my garlic because I want the flavor of the garlic, but I don't want it too strong. And that's the trick about garlic, is when you use garlic, depending on how you cut it, depends on the power of it. So I sliced mine because it actually gives it where it's a little bit more milder flavor. So I've gone ahead and sliced my garlic. And this pot is just full. It just is full to the brim right now. And I'm just kind of mixing in all of the vegetables the best I can. I probably won't get it all too mixy yet, because, or mixy, that's not a word, right? But mixed, sorry. I'm literally just cooking, having fun, cooking on the fly, trying to, get some good healthy food. And, it's funny because I was talking to my mom today, and I was just like, hey, Mom, it is just rainy and, stuff. And I was like, man, I want some soup or some stew or something. And then she gave me an idea. It was like, hey, you could do, she said beef stew, but she knows I don't eat meat and all of that. So I said, ooh, I could do a vegetable soup. So that's kind of how this came to be here. I just kind of was like, oh, well, I can do a vegetable soup, and maybe that'll taste good or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. My vegetables are pretty much good to go now. I'm gonna go ahead and add some Romanesco to it too. And Romanesco, just in case you don't know, it's this. Let me see, can I get it where you can see? I don't know if it'll focus on it, but I'm gonna try and see. Can I get it to focus? Well, it's cut up, but Romanesco is this green broccoli cauliflower looking stuff. Maybe I can insert a picture later for you to see. I'll insert a picture later or something, but I'm going to go ahead and put the Romanesco in. And I'm not going to use all of it. I'm actually going to use a good chunk of it, a good bit of it, because I want to actually roast some of it just off to the side. And so I'm going to put this in there. And I've got some more that's off to the side that I'm just going to kind of, roast at a later point in time. But I'm going to add of it that I have in this pan here. Because, y'all, that Romanesco head was huge. I was like, yeah. So, that's the Romanesco in there. And now what I'm going to do, I know you saw me put some salt and pepper in there the first step, but you know what I always say, season that food, because you want it to taste good, right? So I'm going to put a little bit of salt right here, and I'm going to throw in some pepper on top of that, and trust me, that is not a lot. It's actually gonna mingle and mix down anyway later. And what I'm also gonna do is add 2 of the Edward & Sons Bullion cubes, and that's because I'm about to add about 8 cups of water. So you need enough bouillon to get you through. Need enough bouillon to get you, get you nice and simmery and now what I do when I add water, I get the hot water, just because if it's hot, it actually, it doesn't bring the temperature down of the pot as much as if it is cold water. Because if it's cold water, it's going to bring that temperature down on that pan, and you're going to have to do a lot more as far as bringing it back up to temperature. You'll have to wait for it to boil, wait for it to come to temperature, all of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all of that in there. And trust me, it looks like it's a whole bunch of stuff in here, and it is, but once everything gets cooked down, a lot of that water will come out of these vegetables, and they'll get soft and yum, 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 yum. So we're going to let this actually cook and boil and everything for about an hour. And then when we come back, we'll show you what the next steps are as far as finishing it off and making it taste real yummy. So we're going to let this hang out. And when we come back, we'll talk more about it. But that looks so yummy, y'all. All those vegetables. I can't wait till it's done so I can dig in. So we're gonna let this hang out about an hour, hour and a half, and we'll come back. I'll be back in about an hour. So now our soup, it's been cooking for about an hour, and I turned the heat down. And it's nice and warm. It's got all those beautiful vegetables. Those little white pieces, that's just where the Romanesco kind of got real soft and broke up on us. And that's fine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add the finishing touches. And you always add this at the very end. So this will take about 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so. So your cilantro, I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And then you'll also go ahead and add in your tomatoes. This is about 3 large or medium-sized fresh tomatoes. And you'll go ahead and stir those in. Stir those tomatoes on in there. Yum, yum. So you got your tomatoes in there. There's tons of vegetables in here, you guys. It just looks really delicious. So this is my veggie stew. Really good. So you go ahead and kind of stir that up. And then the last thing is to add your spinach. It's already washed and everything. The spinach is already washed and it's quite a lot of it, or at least it's gonna look like a lot. But see, this is gonna wilt down, so what I do is I just go ahead and do it in batches. So I'm gonna put half of it in, because honestly this is about enough. You can use more if you like, but I'm thinking half is good because we already got the Romanesco. And then you put the lid on. And what the lid is going to do, it's going to help to wilt the spinach. So the lid will actually wilt the spinach. Because that's the thing. Vegetables like spinach, they actually cook down pretty good. And so if you want, you can go ahead and you can kind of use a spoon to smash it kind of into the liquid. Just a little bit like this. Just a little bit so that liquid kind of comes up on it a little bit. Because what's going to happen is it's gonna cook down and wilt. It'll just make it taste really good. It's gonna be really good. So just kind of mush it like that and get that liquid on there, because it'll help with the wilting of the spinach. And then you'll go ahead and put your lid on and give it about 10 minutes and it'll be ready. And here we have our finished veggie stew. That looks so good, yo. Look at that stew. Woo! Nothing but vegetables in there. So that's the finished stew. Hope you guys enjoy it. Check us out next week.